Just posted a little message in the chat to say if people can mute their microphones, that would be wonderful. In this day and age when we're all connecting from various locations, we know that there are background noises, there are pets and children and plates crashing and things. So microphones muted seems to be the best way to go, but thank you for your understanding. It's wonderful to see everybody tonight, and thank you so much for joining us. This is such an important night because it's an exciting time for our high school girls and our grade 8 girls who are entering high school, looking to enter next year, as they think about their careers, their pathways, their academic choices. And so we're always excited to offer our high school info evening, and very happy that we can be offering it to you virtually in these times. I'm just going to wait to let everybody know. Wonderful. So I'm just here to say thank you for joining us. My name is Megan Enticknap, and for those of you who I have not had the pleasure of meeting, I'm the deputy head of the middle and senior school. Our head of school, Mr. Whitehouse, is also here this evening with us. But more importantly, we have our team of guidance counselors and our IB Diploma coordinator, who are the ones who are going to be running the show tonight and sharing with you all of the exciting steps that are coming up for your daughters as they start their course selection process for next academic year. I do want to let you know, so that you can kind of sit back and relax, that the session is being recorded. And also we will make it available as well as the slides through Schoology. So once we're finished with the session tonight, we will be able to post the slides as well as the recording into the parent Schoology group for you. So if there's things that you don't want to miss or things that you're really keen to catch, then don't worry, because that recording will be available to you. So without any further ado, I want to introduce the team that will be running our show this evening. We have our IB Diploma coordinator, Mr. Jason Levesque, who is joining us tonight, as well as our MYP Middle Years Program Coordinator and Academic Counselor, Miss Allison Bartlett. And we have Miss Dimple Patel, who is new to our school this year. So some of you may not yet have had the pleasure of meeting her. She is our Director of University Counseling, and I'm going to be passing the mic over to her capable hands to take us through the rest of the presentation. So sit back, enjoy, and thank you again for joining us.
Perfect. Thank you, Meg. Welcome, everyone. I'm super thrilled to have you all here with us, even though it's virtually. I'm excited to share what grade 9 through 12 has in store for your daughters. So I will get started. Perfect. So our presentation is aimed to give you insight into the unique program that we offer at Elmwood, and basically to help your daughters find a path that suits them and their post-secondary future. And girls, don't panic. Like, you are going to have a lot of support. You're going to be given a lot of resources. And this is the team that's going to kind of help you, along with all of your teachers that you interact with on a daily basis. So here's a look at the pathways that we have. Of course, this is starting in grade 9. So grade 9 and 10, you'll see the combination of the MYP program and the OSSD. And then in grade 11, your daughters can choose if they would like to pursue the IB Diploma or the full diploma, the full OSSD or Ontario Diploma, or a combination of the two. And what they decide in grade 11, they can kind of take with them to grade 12. So we are considered a continuum school. And so a lot of our students, we follow this continuum approach from the PYP program, so junior kindergarten, all the way until grade 12. Now, regardless of when your daughter enters our school, each student will have the opportunity to engage with an education that allows them to develop as learners, extend their learning, become curious, become critical thinkers. We're encouraging them to explore their interests. while developing a global mindset. So now we'll have Mrs. Bartlett talk a little bit more about the MYP program.
Good evening, everyone. Many of you have met with me to talk about your daughters from grade 6, 7, or 8. And I am so happy to be able to see them make this transition into grade 9. Grade 9 is exciting because it's the beginning of their high school journey. It's their opportunity to start working towards gathering their graduation requirements. And it's an opportunity for them to start making their own personal choices. The one comforting thing going from middle school at Elmwood to high school at Elmwood is that there are so many familiar aspects. They'll be aware of the schedule, they'll be familiar with many of their teachers, and of course, they'll have interacted with a lot of the high school students already. So much of the anxiety and fear will be taken out of that transition for them. But continuing with MYP means that they will also have the opportunity to engage in the personal project. At the end of grade 9, I will be meeting with your daughters to talk about the topic that they want to choose and pursue for this project. And then they will work on the project on their own throughout grade 10 and finish with the celebration of learning and the end of their MYP career at the end of grade 10. So very enriching and exciting. And I hope that all of you have an opportunity to see what the grade 10s have done this year. It's really amazing. And it really does set them up really well to move on to grade 11 and 12. In the month of February, I'll be meeting individually with each of your daughters to discuss the options that they have for grade 9. In grade 9, they really don't have a ton of choice. However, they do have one elective that they get to choose, and we'll have a conversation about what that means going toward grade 10 and 11, and I'll be there to help them make those choices. And in grade 9, the girls who are in grade 9 this year will also meet with me to discuss their choices going into grade 10. They have a little bit more choice at that point. But other than that, grade 8 to grade 9 is exciting. It means a great deal of change for the girls. It means that they're high school students, and I'm so excited to be there along with them. Thanks, Dimple.
Thank you. Okay, so now a glimpse into the IBDP and OSSD program. So just to give you an overview of the graduation requirements, you'll notice that there's quite some differences between the two programs. So for the OSSD, as soon as students enter grade 9, they can start collecting credits. By the time they graduate in grade 12, they will have to have 30 credits obtained, all with 50% or higher to earn each credit. They will also have to write the Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test, or OSSLT. Because of COVID, we don't know, depending on what year what grade your daughter is in, we don't know what it will look like the year forward. It seems to be kind of changing on the fly. And then they also have 40 hours of community service that they will need to obtain over the course of 4 years. The IBDP, you will choose a course from each of the 6 groups, and you'll get an overview of that in a little bit. And you'll have to, out of 45 points, obtain 24 as a passing point. And you'll have to obtain 12 points minimum in the higher level subjects, 9 points minimum in the standard level subjects, along with passing the theory of knowledge, extended essay, and the completion of CAS. Now, to give you more insight into the OSSD graduation requirements, so like Mrs. Bartlett said, grade 9, you only have one elective to choose from because you have to complete or take a certain number of compulsory credits. In grade 10, you have, I believe, 2, maybe 3 elective credits. So your credits in grade 9 or your courses in grade 9 and 10 are kind of laid out for you. And the reason for this is to make sure, they want to make sure all the students have an opportunity to explore what's out there. They want to make sure that you're taking some sciences, you're taking some social sciences, you're taking some histories and geographies to see what you're interested in. And you also have to obtain credits from each group. But as we're doing the academic advising in February, we'll be helping you navigate through these credits. And Mr. Levesque will go through the IBDP in more detail.
Thank you very much, Ms. Patel. So as mentioned, my name is Jason Levesque, and I'm the IBDP coordinator, and I also teach IB Math and IB Economics. So I just wanted to take a couple minutes to walk through a few of the expectations regarding the diploma program, and also just kind of the underlying philosophy and what the goal of the program is. So fundamentally, the idea here is that when students engage in the full diploma program, they engage with a depth of thinking and the ability to engage in critical thought that I think goes above and beyond what usually happens in normal high school learning. And I think that, you know, as the world is becoming increasingly solipsistic and a little bit fractured, encouraging students to keep their minds open and to think critically about the world and about all of the things that are going on around them is becoming increasingly important. So I think as time passes, the nature of the education that the diploma program provides is only becoming increasingly important. So students who walk into grade 11 have the ability to choose one of two pathways. They can take the full diploma program, which requires them to take 6 IB courses, as well as the 3 core components, which I'll go into a little bit more detail in a minute or so. And they also have the ability to take certificates. These certificates can be taken in any course and can be taken at higher level or standard level. The logic with certificates is usually if students require more depth or more consideration within a specific subject, but maybe don't have the time or don't have the desire to engage more broadly in the full range of courses and the core components. Ms. Patel, can you change the slide? So if a student decides to go into the full diploma program, as mentioned, they'll take 1 course in each of the 6 subject groups. So the groups are laid out in front of you. Group 1 is they're studying language and literature. That's typically English language, but it can also be self-taught French or Mandarin, depending upon the student's primary language and their goals just going forward in university. Their group 2 is language acquisition. So this is a second language, usually French, but we've also got Spanish and various offshoots of French, like ab initio French offered as well, which just means that they're completely new to the French language. Their group 3 is individuals and societies, which at Elmwood is economics, history, or environmental systems. And so students who have the desire to learn more about world issues and more about the way that our world system works can take environmental systems and economics and history give them an opportunity to engage with those topics more deeply. Their group 4 is their hard science, so physics, chemistry, or biology. For students who are not so scientifically inclined, environmental systems can occupy the group 4 course as well. Group 5 is mathematics. At Elmwood, we offer analysis and approaches, which is very much geared towards preparing them for the rigors of university calculus and beyond. And group 6 can be a bit of a catch-all if the student is artistically inclined or wants to dive into drama, visual arts, or music. They are welcome to do so. But the group 6 can also be 1 course from any of the other topics. So this is typically students who want to take a second science because they're going into a pre-med program, for example, or if they're particularly passionate about the social sciences, they can take economics and history as well. And so, as Ms. Patel had laid out previously, these courses are graded according to IB on a 7-point scale, and there are graduation requirements for students in terms of the number of points that they must accumulate. So students will choose either higher level or standard level courses based on their desires and based on their university goals. They must choose at least 3 higher levels and then the remainder are standard levels if they want to do the full diploma. The difference is course dependent. For some courses, it is a different set of exams at the end. For some courses, it's simply a little bit of extra material or a bit of extra analysis. And so when students choose a higher level, I really encourage them to meet with myself and with their subject teachers, as well as with Ms. Patel, so that they can have a really deep understanding of what the expectations are, and they can choose what's right for them. Usually, students will declare right at the beginning of grade 11 what their higher level and standard levels are going to be, but I do encourage them throughout the grade 11 year to engage with, as mentioned, myself, Ms. Patel, and their teachers, to see if it's right for them. And they do have the opportunity to change course and change tactics, depending upon if their university goals shift, or if they find a course they're particularly passionate about and they can switch to higher level. Ms. Patel, can you change the slide? So brand new to Elmwood starting in grade 11, and this is something I'm particularly passionate about. It's something I've been lobbying for years. We're now going to be offering higher level and standard level psychology as a potential group 3. And so this is going to give students an opportunity who, and we've seen grade 12s frequently express the desire to do so. Online, they will take an anthropology, sociology, and psychology course. And we just felt at Elmwood that this needed to be kind of a tool in our box, so to speak, and something that students had clamored for and desired, and I think a really meaningful thing for them to engage with going out into the broader world, and consequently something that we're passionate and excited to offer as a group 3 option. Ms. Patel? And so as the final piece for the diploma program, in addition to taking their 6 courses, they need to complete these 3 core components. So I'll give you a little bit more information, but if you've got more questions, I'm happy to handle them in the Q&A period. So in grade 11, they take a theory of knowledge course. And the goal here is simply to give them an opportunity to see how all of their courses fit together. So the idea with theory of knowledge is that it's not subject specific, but more fundamentally an opportunity to question, what are they learning? What is the value of their knowledge they're accumulating? And how is that kind of determining who they are as learners and how they see the world? So it really does give them an opportunity to engage in discussion and to engage with deeper ideas in a way that sometimes subject-specific courses that require them to focus on content can miss. And so it really is kind of the unifying feature of the diploma program. Secondly, they need to take, or I should say, write an extended essay. This is facilitated by our library technician, Ms. Kimberly Senf. They usually start around this time in their grade 11 year. It takes about a year, and they complete a 4,000-word essay on a topic of their choosing. So this is an opportunity for students to dive really deeply into something that they care about and are passionate about. It's labor intensive, but if students choose something they love, it's always worth it. Furthermore, and I think probably as importantly for most of the university-bound students, this is a chance for them to prepare and to learn what it means to write a really deep research paper. So they engage in a lot of research-specific engagements, and Kimberly Senf works with them to kind of teach them how to engage in primary and meaningful research and how to construct a research paper as a consequence of that work. And then finally, students complete their CAS experiences, CAS standing for creativity, activity, and service. So most students see this as their quote unquote volunteer hours. The diploma program doesn't litigate how many hours they have to complete. It's more broadly an opportunity for them to engage in things that they care about. I find with most students, after I meet with them the first time, these are things that they're doing anyway. They just have to document their own life experiences. So these are sports that they play, any community activity that they engage with, any creative activities that they pursue as a means for personal growth. So students sometimes see this as a bit of an onerous task, but as I say, once I meet with them and they engage with it, they see that it's an opportunity to develop an understanding and a love of things that they already do. Ms. Patel?
Thank you.
Oh. And finally, so if students do not decide to pursue the diploma program, we do offer the opportunity to get certificates in either higher level or standard level in any of the courses that we offer. Typically, there are a couple of reasons why students would pursue this track. The first is if they have a very deep and a very focused desire to engage in something at university. So in that case, and Ms. Patel will speak to this a bit more later, but the idea is that if they know exactly where they want to go, then we typically recommend that they choose those IB certificates as required by their university, focus intently on those things, and move forward. And so it really is for students who have developed a very clear path through life, and they know exactly what they want to do. Secondly, and as importantly, we've got a lot of students who engage in very thorough extracurricular activities. So if they are high performance athletes, musicians or artists, and they don't have the time to engage in the full diploma program, but really want to pursue a few subjects with more depth, that's the thing we can facilitate as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ms. Patel, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So the combination of the OSSD program and the IBDP program basically works quite well for our girls right now. And it's because the two curriculums align so well together. And to bring, and it helps create the foundation for the Elmwood Curriculum. And to bring that into light a bit more, I'm happy to announce that Elmwood will no longer be charging a fee should your daughter wish to pursue the IBDP program. We really want to emphasize that our teachers are trained in both curriculums. They are very well versed in what the curriculum requirements and expectations are of both, and deliver lessons that will hone in on both. So regardless of the program that your daughter wishes to pursue, they are able to engage in activities, lessons, and content without that defined separation. And it's only going to further their learning experience in the classroom and create a more meaningful experience throughout their high school education. And so we're very excited that that's a new change that we can put forth. So as I was talking about the Elmwood curriculum, this combination allows us to make sure that we encourage our girls to explore the different subject areas, explore what their interests are, and find their passions through that exploration. And in this process, we are going to guide them to make sure that they achieve their goals personally and academically. And we want to prepare them as well as we can to make a difference, whether it's in university, whether it doesn't matter which communities that they're a part of in the future. We're hoping that we can help them make that difference. And this brings us to our goals that we have set forth for your daughters, and it's to prepare them for the world beyond Elmwood. We want them to become engaged learners with us, so they're even more engaged when they go off to university or college. We want them to reach or perform beyond their potential, become curious of the world around them, practice open-mindedness, engage with our school community as well as beyond, and all while becoming global citizens. So just an important note that even if the students graduate with the IBDP program, that they will also graduate with the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. Now, this is going to be pretty relevant for the girls who are going into they're in grade 10 going into grade 11. Just some things for you to think about. So I know in this presentation, you probably have this question in the back of your mind to IBDP or to OSSD. We've given you a wealth of information thus far, and it's really important that you discuss it as a family as the academic advising process is coming up next week. And I also want to present to you with some additional factors that you should consider as you're trying to tease out which program is right or suitable for you. So you might be wondering which program to pick, and I don't have a formula that I could give you to help you figure out which program that is, but I can give you a few things to think about. So what are your academic and intellectual goals? What are your, think about your interests. What are your strengths in subjects? When you are in class, what topics are you, investigating more on Google, or Which ones are you writing more notes about? Which ones are you trying to extend your learning on? Think about some of your post-secondary programs and goals. Are you thinking of a program in art? Maybe you're a really good artist. Are you thinking about honing in on your skills as a writer? And then you can start thinking about potential universities. There are 4,800 universities in the US, 95 universities in Canada, and so many more outside of North America. There's a huge list that is out there for you. So it would be good for you to talk to your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, brothers, sisters, whoever, and ask them which universities that they've gone to, what program that they entered and had the experience of going through. This might actually help shape some of your thoughts. And then think about your extracurriculars. How many extracurriculars are you a part of? What other commitments do you have inside or outside of the school? And how are you trying to find balance? And more importantly, always, I want you to think about your mental health and well-being. It is, in the midst of handing in an assignment, preparing for a test, trying to write an essay for scholarships, it can become very overwhelming, and the ability to unplug is extremely important. So always always think about your mental health and well-being as you're trying to refine your list of potential universities. And know that I will be there to offer you any type of advice and support throughout that process. So like I said, there's thousands and thousands of universities in the world, and you have to ask yourself which university outlines your post-secondary future. So I've made this chart to kind of give you an easy, just a format for you to follow for as a rule of thumb for choosing programs. Ontario and Canadian universities, if you are set on choosing a university close to home or in the country, both OSSD and IBDP will allow you to meet the requirements. Of course, with certain programs, you have prerequisites. For example, for social science, usually you only need English, so ENG for you. But for others like engineering, you might have you'll need your chemistry and physics, etc. Now, one thing I've noticed about our current senior girls is that they are putting forth a lot of applications for scholarships, for some of the major ones, some of the smaller ones. All of them require essays on top of that level of commitment that is needed for that involvement. So that's more for scholarships and less for admission requirements. There are certain programs such as the health sciences, life sciences, and business that will have supplementary essays as well. So that would be in addition to your diploma requirements. If you are thinking about highly selective universities or selective universities that have anywhere between 25 to 30% or below acceptance rate. So these are usually in the US, the UK, and Europe. The OSSD alone may not suffice. If you are taking the IBDP, the full IBDP, you would likely meet the requirements. You just have to make sure that you meet the points. So for example, the London School of Economics, their minimum requirements for IBDP point will be 38 points. So the university websites will usually indicate that. However, if you want to take the OSSD, you still have an opportunity to apply to those schools, but you will have to take at least 3 IB certificates. So Ivy Leagues in the US, for example, the OSSD won't be alone because students in America, they are taking advanced placement classes. So the IB certificate would serve as the equivalent to that. And that's just extending your learning in particular subject areas. And they usually require 3. Those highly selective and selective universities also require strong leadership and community involvement inside, but more of an emphasis outside of the school as a part of their application. A lot of the Ivy League schools have less than 10% acceptance rate. So they'll have over 20,000 applicants and they'll only admit 1,500 to 2,000 depending on the school. So it is a very rigorous process, and there's supplementary essays and possibly interviews as well. If you would like to go even further, so anywhere in Australia, New Zealand, Europe, or Asia, the OSSD and the IBDP, or if you would like to do the combination of the OSSD and IB certificate, both will suffice. The selectivity will really depend on the school. So if there are universities in these areas that you're interested in, I can always help you research. Now, an important point to note about the IB certificate and IBDP program as a whole, North American universities do have something called advanced standing. So if you were to score a 5, 6, or 7, universities will actually grant you credits for those IB classes. So just off the top of my head, Acadia University, if you have 30 points without TOK and your extended essay, they will grant you 1 year's worth of university credits. Now, this is usually an option I make known to students who A, demonstrate financial need, or B, have a clear plan outlined for when they get there. I spoke to some of our alumni girls from Elmwood, and even though some of them had the opportunity to have that advanced standing or to get university credits from their IB credits, they actually didn't take it because some of them didn't want to jump ahead in university. Some also take it to relieve themselves in their first year as they transition to university life. So it's really, there's quite a few options if you were to take IB classes, but we can always discuss that. The other items I want you to discover or to consider in the university process is, I want you to think about what your time management and organizational skills are, the number of courses you're taking, if you're aiming for scholarships, what your extracurricular involvements are, and if you're involved in sports, and how much time you're making for yourself, and of course your overall well-being. This is going to be more relevant for the grade 11s going into grade 12s, but the idea is to make sure you're balanced in terms of your schoolwork, your extracurriculars, and also you're allocating time to university applications. Canada's application process is becoming more like the US, where they're requiring students to write paragraph responses or essays as a part of their admissions, which is quite new. And they might even require a portfolio if you're applying for the arts or design programs, resume, letters of reference. You might need standardized tests, or if you're applying to the US, you might need SATs. If you're applying to medical programs in the UK, you'll need your BMATs. And then there's also interviews. So you want to make sure, depending on what your plans are, that you're also considering weaving in time to make sure you attend to these essays and things that are part of the university application process. So your grade 12 is a very critical year to make sure you really it's going to challenge your time management organization skills, but it is a really good opportunity for you to start refining them as well.
I think we might all be back.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, so welcome back. Hopefully the Q&A session was informative. I will go through some of the next steps in the process. Your daughters will receive an email tomorrow with a to book an appointment with myself or Mrs. Bartlett. So students going into grade 9 and 10 will book an appointment with Mrs. Bartlett, and students going into grade 11 and 12 will book an appointment with me. Our course selections are aimed to be completed before March 1st. So you'll basically receive an email with instructions of how to upload those course choices onto my backpack. And you'll also receive a document that shows the discussion that took place between myself and your daughter, or Mrs. Bartlett and your daughter. So that way you'll have a great idea of what their plans are and what they're thinking in terms of their following school year. And yeah, or if you would like to be a part of, I had this question, I think a couple times. If you would like to be a part of your daughter's meeting, feel free to just reach out to us, and that way we can coordinate a time that works for everybody's schedule. So again, here, if you have any follow-up questions, whether it's regarding the academic advising or what was covered today, you can email any of us with follow-up questions. I don't think I have. We'll put the emails in there and send out the PowerPoint. Well, thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Patel. I wanted to take the opportunity to close our evening together, and I'm so amazed at the detail and the amount of information that's been shared. And I want to remind people that in addition to the offer of following up individually with any of these three wonderful people, depending on your question and the grade that your daughter's in, we will also be sharing the PowerPoint slides as well as a recording of this meeting. So in each of the breakout rooms was also recorded, so we can share everything that was captured this evening so that you will have time to go back over it, because it's definitely an important topic. And the things that I heard this evening that really resonated with me and that I'm so proud of in terms of the message that we share is the idea that this is the ownership of the students, that this is about their passions and their choices, but knowing that we have this really strong team there to support them along the way. So it doesn't mean that they're on their own making these choices. We want them to feel that agency about their future, but we have the guidance and the support there through our incredible team of Ms. Patel, Ms. Bartlett, and Mr. Levesque to help guide them. And we also know that you as parents are really important in that process too. So in terms of your ability to have those conversations with your daughter and to let us know of any other questions you might have. So thank you so much to our incredible team for presenting tonight. I know that they put a lot of work into getting this presentation right and including all of that valuable information, and also all the work that they're going to be doing ongoing, the work they've already put in, but the work they'll be doing moving forward to really reach our goal of helping all of your daughters reach their full potential. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you to our presenters, and we wish you a wonderful rest of the night. And just a little last throw in, we're so excited that the girls will be able to return to school on Monday. Just thrilled with that announcement that came out today. And also knowing that if you choose for your daughter to continue remote learning, that option is still there too. So don't worry if that is your choice. So thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for joining us.